Hey guys, it's Mrs. Kleinley with this week's First Chapter Friday. I have a sweet book for you this week. It is called Caterpillar Summer by Gillian McDunn. I love this book. I connected to this book on lots of levels personally. I think the main reason is just because I absolutely love the beach. And this book is set in this cute little place called Gingerbread Island on the coast of the Carolinas. Our main character's name is Kat, and her younger brother Chicken live out in San Francisco with their mom. Their mom is a single mom, and they have no relationship at all with her parents, their grandparents. And as a result of a series of events that has taken place, Cat and Chicken end up having to go to Gingerbread Island to live with these grandparents who they've never met for the summer. What I love about this book is that Chicken, Cat's little brother, has autism and lots of sensory issues that go along with that. And oftentimes in children's books, we read all about kids who have all different things going on with them, whether it's autism or sensory issues or learning differences or you name it. We have books about things that students like our students or students like ourselves are kind of going through. But what makes this book a little bit different is that Kat is the main character. So you see how the struggles her brother has really affect her. She is his protector. She is his at sometimes it seems like primary caregiver. She knows how to calm him down when he's upset. She knows what to do for him. And just when he's stressed, she's stressed, and how what he's going through really, really, really impacts her as the older sister. So I think it definitely sheds a little bit of a different light on autism by seeing how, loved ones are kind of impacted by this. So I'm going to jump into chapter 1. Here we go. Kat always kept her brother in the back of her mind, except for the times he was in the front of it. She might be multiplying fractions in her head while her brain quietly asked, "Did you cut the tag out of Chicken's shirt?" She might be studying plants of the tundra biome when her mind questioned whether his teacher was calling him Henry, which he hated. She might be scooping mashed potatoes onto her tray when she wondered, will he be the only first grader left behind at the aquarium? On a good day, Chicken liked to wander. On a bad day, Chicken would bolt. But no matter what, Cat loved him, as wide as the Golden Gate Bridge, as deep as the seafloor, and as fierce as a shark bite. The last day of 5th grade, Cat was on alert. Usually the last day of school was messy, noisy, and busy. The kind of day that could easily be too much for Chicken. When he got upset, he couldn't always calm himself. He got more and more tangled up until he overflowed and everything came rushing out. Mom called it a meltdown, but to Kat it was tight and sharp. It was the opposite of melting. When the dismissal bell rang, Kat slid her backpack to her shoulder, hustled double time to the steps at the entrance. The sky above her was gray and low, but inside Kat felt like sunshine. She bounced on the balls of her feet. The bounces said Summer, Atlanta, my best friend, Rishi. If her heart had it its way, it would have skittered out of her chest and started vacation without her. The next day, they'd fly east until they reached Atlanta. Mom would teach a 3-week college class, and Cat and Chicken would tag along to see the Krishnamurthis, who moved to Georgia last summer. It had been a year, but Cat still missed going to Rishi's house to play, do homework, and eat dosas. But even from thousands of miles away, he was still her best friend. Plus, Mom promised they would have a real vacation when she wasn't teaching. It would be the first Kat could remember since it was just the 3 of them. A stream of kids poured onto the sidewalk, and Kat sidestepped the elbowing boys and twirling kindergartners. "Hey, Kat!" a voice said behind her. Kat turned, expecting to see her brother, but instead it was Poppy Zhang, the nicest girl in 5th grade. Her cheeks dimpled when she smiled, and at that moment she was dimpling at Kat. "You crushed that geometry review," said Poppy. Math was Kat's favorite, and geometry was her best. Kat liked geometry's rules. They made her feel organized. "Thanks," said Kat. "You too." Poppy laughed. "I'm not so sure, but thanks." She tilted her head toward a cluster of girls on the sidewalk. "A few of us are going to Toy Boat. Do you want to come?" Of course Kat wanted to go. She could almost taste the mint chocolate chip, but then she thought of her brother. "I know you watch Chicken after school," Poppy said. "You could bring him." It would never work. He'd wiggle right off his seat. He'd drip ice cream on the table. He'd drip ice cream onto Poppy Zhang. Kat shook her head slowly. "I can't." Poppy looked disappointed, but offered Kat a smile. See you around. She hurried to catch up with the others. Most days, Kat didn't mind watching Chicken. It wasn't his fault that he needed her in the afternoon. It wasn't Mom's fault that she worked all the time. It wasn't the Krishnamurthy's fault that they moved to Georgia for a new job for Rishi's mom. It wasn't anyone's fault. But Kat's insides didn't feel like sunshine anymore. Caterpillar! She turned halfway before getting caught between a squeeze and a crash. Hey, Chicken! She patted his back until he let go. She leaned back to see him. He was the kind of kid who wore his day on his face. When his brown eyes crinkled in a good day grin, she couldn't help but grin back. Silently, he held out a clenched fist. For you, Caterpillar! Kat stretched out her hand to receive the daily treasures. The dandelion was wilted, but she turned it gently like it was made of gold. It's beautiful. She tucked the flower in her pocket and studied his face. Good day? Chicken shrugged. Kat raised her eyebrows. The last day of school was chaotic, and Chicken didn't like being off schedule. Are you sure? No hard times? He frowned slightly, looking back at her. It was loud when we cleaned out our desks, but I did belly breaths until I felt calm. He inhaled deeply, rounding his stomach, then pushed the air out in a burst. Good job using strategies. She looked him over. Traces of frosting crusted his chin, and gray paint streaked his sweatshirt, but overall he looked good. Cleaning a mess was easier than fixing a bad mood. Okay, guys, so I'm going to stop there. This book, it's such a feel-good, heartwarming book. So much of Kat's life is consumed by her brother, and she's happy it is, and she's happy to take care of him. But what's really nice about them going to live with these grandparents is that Kat gets to focus on Kat a little bit because the grandparents focus on Chicken. So Kat gets to do things that she likes to do and spend her time how she likes to spend it, and knows that Chicken is being taken care of and that she doesn't have to be the primary caregiver. She can be a kid herself. So she really kind of comes into her own and just really has the summer of a lifetime, making new friendships and developing relationships with these grandparents who she's never met before. So I highly, highly recommend Caterpillar Summer. It is in our realistic fiction section under MCD for McDunn. I hope you enjoy. Happy reading.